Didn't know you were in there. Welcome to episode 3 of Fuck You, David. As you can tell by my incredibly dramatic intro, my bad. I had to really think about how to present this to you because, as you can tell by about a good minute or so of staring at the screen, you'll notice two things. Number one, this selection right here is the most opposite we've been so far since you started playing this game. And I don't know if that's because you were, I don't know, just in a different frame of mind that day, or you were just trying to, pepper the video with a few laughs, or if you were just in a fuck anything, fuck everything mood, and I'm going to play irrationally to the point of you're going to make your friends wonder what the fuck is going on with you. So let's get started, shall we? Oh, hold on a sec. Where are my notes at? I actually got notes this time. This way I'll be able to be a little more prepared. Psych. That's just what I made beforehand. Sweet merciful death. Oh yes, the woman on the streets who you heard crying and screaming, "Oh, help me, somebody help me." You and Kenny were on the top of the trailer bed, and the two of you were wondering what to do. What to do. And as you can see, we were opposite. You shot the girl. Even though there were walkers all around you, you shot someone who you had no connection to, who you saw get bit, just to, what, be humane? What, to show an act of mercy in the apocalypse? She was already dead. And that gunshot brought all the walkers circling back to you, which is why I didn't shoot her. I let her get killed because her screams were drawing out more from their holes. Kenny was right. There could have been a walker that you couldn't see otherwise when you were clearing out the drugstore, but because her screams were echoing so loud, it drew every walker around you from like a 3-mile radius towards that location. And in my case, which you'll see if you watch my stream about it, I was able to clear out the drugstore. I was able to clear out everything, all the supplies. We got everything we could possibly get there. That girl didn't die for nothing, in Kenny's words. So, me and 60% of players did not shoot her, which means, if you do the math, you were in the minority. That one time, you've been in the minority. So, I don't know what made you decide to do that. I mean, that was just irrational, bro. I mean, I couldn't understand that, but I thought, alright, well, maybe you're just on some sort of noble crusade, it'll fade out eventually. It'll fade. So, and to tell you why I didn't shoot her was because of what Kenny said. The walkers didn't know we were there. She bought us the time we needed to clear out the drugstore. She was dead anyway. We saw her get bit. We couldn't save her. Plus, a wasted bullet could have been used for something else. It was a rifle bullet too, man. Those, you know how rare those are in the apocalypse world? Very rare. But that was my foresight. That was my inclination as to what to do with that scenario. And she died eventually, but her death caused a few more lives to be saved. Just a few. Anyway, moving on. Bro, I swear, it was not like, fake or anything when I said, "Fuck you, I'm out," in the chat when you made this call, because I cannot believe you let her back in the RV. It was all about leaving someone behind who you knew was going to be a danger to your group. Now it says, did you abandon Lily? Lily abandoned us already. She was adamant that someone had stolen supplies. She was so against you from the beginning. She was pointing the finger. She was waving the finger around, accusing everybody but her. She was acting paranoid. She fucking blew a girl's brains out right in front of you, bro. Like, come on! How more dense can you be? I'm sorry. I'm not trying to offend you, man. I love you. You know that. But it's like, come on. Why did you let her back in the RV? Come on, man. And I kept on hearing you say, "Oh, you made the wrong call. You should have left her behind." Yeah, you should have. Yeah, you should have. Me and 45% of players left her, which means, you know, doing the math, I've never been too good at numbers, but you know, um, 45%. You know, I mean, it's 55%. You know, you were in the majority. You know, you took her with you, but where did that get you? She fucked you over in the end, didn't she? She took off in the RV, which, to be fair, only had 30 miles on it, because the radiator was about to break anyway. But still, if... Alright. Maybe it was the spur of the moment thing, maybe it was, you know, you gotta do the right thing, or maybe, but it's like, how could you let someone on the vehicle you're driving in, knowing damn well this bitch can murder you at any point, because that's what she did to Carly. Like, oh god, bro, you have no idea how fucking upset I was when I first saw that scene. I screamed like a little bitch when I first saw that. I was like, oh my god, what? Are you serious? They're gonna do that after I saved her personally in the first episode? Like, come on. Some wild shit, man. I don't agree with what you did, but, you know, I left her behind. And my thinking was, I wish that, you know, option X or option triangle was shoot her in the head. Kill her the way that she killed Carly. That's what Lee should have done. But I did the most, you know, in my mind, I did the thing that made the most sense at the time. Leave behind someone who murdered one of my group members. And the most vindictive and the most spiteful and the most, like, it's like she didn't even hear the bullet, man. That's how quick it was. That's how... Oh, alright. Moving on. The big standoff. Oh yeah, this is when I stopped watching the stream because, and thank fuck I did, because if I had watched you during this scene, I would have probably reached through that monitor and ripped out your vocal cords, man. I'm being serious, because I can't believe you fought him. Why would you do that? After all the times you spent backing him up, now is when you decide to fight him? When his son is bitten, he's just trying to get, you know, to somewhere safe? Like, bro, are you serious? What happened to you? Like, you just, like, had a complete 180 all of a sudden, and it's like, what the hell? I mean, I stopped watching it, like I said, so I didn't know what your commentary was, but I kind of got tired of you making a reference to putting your dick in everyone's mouth every 2 seconds. But anyway, regardless, it's like, how could you do that? How could you put your hands on him after, you know, after all you've been through? He saved your fucking ass, didn't he? I don't get it, man. I don't get it. And maybe it's because he chose certain dialogue options, but that's what happened. Like, you know, I was able to talk him down. 45% talk him down. So again, you know, the same number of players, which means you were in the minority. Everyone wanted to fight him. 55% of players wanted to fight him. Why? Just because he was acting like, you know, a meathead because, you know, his son got bit? There's a reason why he was acting that way, bro. I'm not sure if you realize that, but, you know, if you talk to him a certain way, you know, he unloads on you. I mean, he tries to, you know, push you off because he wants to, like, you know, be a man and all, but it's like, if you can get past that, you know, that guard of his, he looks at Lee as kind of like a brother. And, you know, seeing, you know, or knowing the fact that you fought him, like, I don't know if you let him beat you up, or I don't know if you actually, you know, choked him out, but, because those are the only options. You know, you can either let him, you know, beat you up, and he, like, gets his rage out, but it's, like, the most awful thing you could see. Or you choke him out. And it's just... It makes sense, like, you know, I mean, I would do that, but it's just like, that's Kenny, man, that's their homie. and I was able to talk him down. Like, you know, I was able to, you know, put my hand on him, and even though he was like, "Your hands off me," and I was like, "Man, I'm sorry, I just want to talk." You know, I was just I was calm, I was rational, and at the end, I was able to get him to stop the train. I would tell him to stop the train, man. And I will tell you this, though. This is going to have severe consequences. This choice is going to have severe consequences in the end. In the end of what? Who knows? That's going to be severe. Moving on. Which also, I got to talk to you about something while we're on the subject. I know you're trying to get a laugh and everything, and trust me, you are funny 90% of the time, but I really didn't care about the remarks you made about Duck. In my opinion, I liked him, and I just, you can hate on him if you want, but even talking about it now really gets me upset. I didn't like what happened before you had to make that choice. And again, it's the fourth choice. See, not only did we make four choices different this episode, but the fourth choice in the game was the only thing we did differently. And you probably did it just to, you know, have an orgasm or whatever because you wanted to see a duck die because you didn't like him, you thought he was annoying or whatever, but I didn't like seeing what happened before we got to that point. Like, at this point, you know, I got Kane to stop the train. They had a moment, and then I was like, you know, what do you need? And they didn't know what to do. And then they eventually got to, you know, putting a bullet in his head to make sure he doesn't come back. And then Kenny was like, well, who then? You want me to? And Katja was like, you don't have to. And Kenny was like, Katja, fuck, I can. I can do this. And at that point, I was like, no, I'll do it. I said, I'll do it. And then, you know, they took Duck into the woods, and then Clementine came over, and I was like, I was honest with her. I was like, Duck is dying, and I was like, I'm gonna make sure he's okay. And she was like, but he's bitten, and I'm like, I'm gonna make sure he doesn't come back by killing him. That's what I said to her, and she was like, oh. And that's when I heard the gunshot. At this point, bro, you gotta remember, I'm like a sophomore in high school. I'm already on edge from fucking seeing my favorite character get shot in the head. So I'm like thinking, who the hell, what the hell happened? And then I thought maybe, what, did they shoot him already? Like, did Kenny or Katja do it? And then when Lee's running into the woods, I'm not sure if you said Kenny should do it or Katja should do it, but there's a difference in dialogue. But if you say, I'll do it, they both take him into the woods, and I run into the woods. There's like intense music playing, and then all of a sudden, the camera cuts to Katja, and it's just, oh god, it was an awful sight, man. I was in shock for a good, like, I remember the timer ticked by so slowly, and I know it was on purpose, but I thought it was like I turned off everything. I was like, did this really happen? Did she really do that? And all I could say was, oh my god. Like, that's all I could say. It was awful. And then seeing how Duck was still alive and he saw his mom do that to herself, and it was an awful sight, man. And it was just one of the things that stuck with me through a long, long time. And when it came down to, you know, dealing with Duck, I was like, you know, can you give me the gun? I'll do it. And I did that because I didn't want Kenny to put down his own son. I thought that was just, after seeing his wife kill herself, I thought, Jesus Christ, this man's about to kill himself in a few minutes. Like, it was just, it was awful seeing that. And I know it's a video game or whatever, but I got attached to these characters like it was the fucking show. And I know I'm getting kind of long-winded here, but it was like, oh god. So, 81% of players, so you and myself shot him. And funny enough, it's actually interesting and kind of bizarre how 81% of players, you know, shot him, which means a total of 19% of, well, 19% of players, so barely 20%, either had Kenny shoot him, or the alternative, and I swear to you, this is an alternative, if you make no choice when it's either you do a Kenny end this or give me the gun, I'll do it, if you let the timer run out, Lee will be like, what do we do? And Kenny will go to shoot him, and then he can't do it. And then Kenny turns to Lee and says, let's just go. And that's what happens. If you make no decision, you end up leaving him. And you know what happens next. He comes back as a walker, although we're miles away. And that is probably the worst thing, probably your preferred ending. So there you go. If you want a, if you want an even worse ending for Duck, you can have him as a walker. But you don't see him though. You don't see him as a walker. However, you do see him though as a walker if you do a non-canon death, which means, you know, you end up restarting. At the beginning of the confrontation with Kenny, if you let the timer run out multiple times, he'll push you out of the cable car, and you'll go back to the box car where Duck has reanimated, and you see him as a walker. You see Ben's dead body, you see Clementine's hat, and you see like nothing else, and then you see Walker Duck like stumbling towards you, and then, you know, a cut to black. That's like a non-canon ending. I swear to you, bro, it's not. I'm not joking. But, you know, that's if you want to see a Walker Duck. But, anyway, moving on to the final choice. Sorry, this is the longest one probably yet, and if you're still with me, awesome. If not, too bad. A helping hand. Oh, the last one was a heavy burden. You and I both decide to have a heavy burden by shooting our best friend's son, even though you fought him for some reason. Like I said, I didn't watch the rest of your video or your stream, so I probably should do that after doing this. I mean, but it's like watching a few minutes into it, I was like, oh, you son of a bitch. It's like, you know, and jokingly, of course, but anyway, moving on to the final choice. A helping hand. Krista and Omid, I thought they were both weird. I really did. And I'm not sure how you interacted with them, but I have a slight favoritism to Omid because he's funny, and him and I have a Civil War interest. So, and Clementine seems to like him, so go with that. 60%. So I don't know. This choice doesn't really hold a lot of, you know, weight in my mind. I mean, personally, it's whatever. I mean, you know, if you help Krista, if you help Krista, she's pissed off at you for not helping Omid, but he still makes it on the train. If you help Omid, he's pissed off at you for not helping Krista, but she still makes it on the train. There you go. Not really a spoiler, but that's kind of how the choice goes out. That's why I really don't have much emotion on it. So one of them, I mean, it's kind of like one of those choices that it's like, it's kind of minor, it doesn't really matter all that much, necessarily, but it's one of those things, man. But there you have it. That's how different Episode 3 was for us. I don't know who the hell you are, or I don't know what clone or alien replaced you with, but you are not Slick Games, man. You are not Slick Games, by any means. Or maybe I'm not me, who knows. These are all thoughts for discovery and questioned, but it's also grounds for dismissal. Ah, well. Devon, are you undead? No, I'm kidding. And alright, that's pretty much the end of this one. Thanks for watching this, but there's also one thing I want to show you and tell you, which I think you will benefit from, which, Devon, if you are still watching this, awesome, that's awesome. there's something that I think you should do before you play episode 4. Maybe it'll hurt you, maybe it'll help you, but I think it'll benefit you in the long run, because because I've noticed a few times in videos that the pop-up notifications, you seem to make a habit of pointing them out, which they kind of distract you, honestly, man. So I know it asked you at the beginning of the game if you want standard or minimum display style. I know you went with standard, but I really think you should go with minimum, and I'm going to tell you how to do it right now. At the main menu, you want to go to Help and Options. You want to go to Settings, right? Then Gameplay. And then here it is. Story notifications. I think you should turn those off. I really think that and I really hope you watch this video before you stream episode 4 of The Walking Dead. I really do. I really, really, really hope you do. I think you should turn off this setting, story notifications, because it'll distract you. It really will. Have some subtitles on. Have selectables, so you can detect them, so you can know what to look for. That'll help, newcomers like you. That just means the reticle buttons. That just means whatever the icon you have, like the floating D-pad, it shows the button too, which you pretty much know. Up is triangle, down is X, square is left, and circle is right. That's pretty much what it is. But I would heavily recommend turning off story notifications. So again, help and options, settings, gameplay, story notifications. Sorry. Help and options, settings, gameplay, and then turn this one off. That's what I would do from here on out. Or if you want to continue the next season, which I really hope you play the next season, even though, well, I'll get to that point later on. Sorry. Alright, I might cut that. I might cut that out, actually, because I could trim this out. So, anyway, that's the thing. And thanks for watching. Peace.